Hardleg and his friends, they're gonna play a lot of games. It's Legsplay.
And
welcome back to... You know what?
I don't really describe things well, I was gonna say.
Oh,
You want to start it now, or do you want to start it? Are we on Legsplay now?
And welcome back to Legsplay. Hardleg Joe here with CB Radio.
You've caught me off guard.
We're back at the thing. I'm gonna give some people some money. You look like a nice, strapping young man. Let's Jay is to talk.
Jabers.
I can't do any business without a nice shop. What shall I do? Donate $750? Sure. Thank you. I'll finally open my shop tomorrow.
Oh.
I'll gladly pay you tomorrow for a
hamburger today. Yes.
What's your deal? An enormous flying eye struck my house with a lightning bolt and burnt it to the ground.
That's not my problem.
Fake news. Donate $250? Yeah, sure, why not? Thank you, you're a savior. Please accept this reward. You got a key.
Oh, nice.
And the doggo barked. Yep, that's enough.
I think that's good for now.
American do whatever. Yeah, don't try to wave at me like you know me. I'm Hardleg Joe, by the way, here with CB Radio. I'm sure you knew from the first one. Yeah. Well, we just...
there's a giant floating eye there.
There's a thing. Wizorb! I love that. I love that transformation sequence. It's so neat. Oh, I still have it.
Yeah, I was like, what?
I thought if you went to the new world that it disappeared, but apparently I can keep it as long as I don't die. So hopefully I can just not die forever. That would be...
Who wants to live forever?
Me? That'd be nice.
I wouldn't want to.
I mean, maybe not past the heat death of the universe, but I like to live for a very, very long time. Maybe forever. I don't know. I wonder if you, like...
Who would want to live, yeah.
The idea that you could live forever, like, kind of implies that, like, you can live past the heat death of the universe and still do stuff. You won't just be, like, in a black... Like, if you can generate heat, you can generate power and continue to do things. That's what I would think. Hard to say. That would be an interesting plot for an anime. You straight up have, like, people who like... a bunch of immortals who were living past the heat death of the universe, trying to...
Restart it or something?
Yeah, or just trying to make do now that all molecular activity has ceased. That would be interesting. Isn't that, well, I don't want to give spoilers for stuff.
Isn't that what?
That was actually a plot point, that they were generating energy for the heat death, to prevent the heat death of the universe. In Madoka Magica.
Oh, yeah. I'm never gonna watch that.
Oh, okay. Damn it. I accidentally... Well,
you accidentally farted?
Yep, I accidentally tooted.
Mm-hmm.
I tooted a boot. Speaking of which, I said we were going to talk about anime, but I'm suddenly reminded, because I said, like, that would be a good idea of that anime I had in my dream that one time.
No.
And I told you about that. I didn't know if it was an interesting idea that should be regaled or something. Like, Joe, maybe you just keep that one.
Regale it, because I completely forgot about which one. Because all I could think about is the original one you told me about that was...
The dream I had that lasted like 50 years?
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, that was another one.
Yeah, that wasn't the... That wouldn't make a good anime, though.
That would not. Really that'd just be a really depressing...
It's only depressing when you wake up.
Yeah, well, that's the point.
Yep. So many eyeballs.
They only have eyes for you.
And now they have burning.
Is your eye dry?
I
Itches
see you. But yeah, the one I was talking about, because it's a lot of people don't know this. I haven't really talked about it all that much, except for I talked about it in Neverending Nightmare with Bootleg Drew, which was an older series back when the channel was still pretty young. But I have really like elaborate, like detailed dreams that I remember, like really, really vivid dreams, and I often write them down. And it seems especially like this year, since I've been free to live on my own, because it seems like when I'm stressed, I often don't dream. But since I've started... Ooh, that was a close one. Since I've started being a YouTuber on my own, I've been having a lot more vivid dreams.
Last week I've had some pretty good ones too, but continue.
Well, in general, first of all, I'm interested to know, because I know some people are like, hearing about dreams to them is the most uninteresting thing in the world because it has like literally no relevance to anything.
I always loved listening to think about dreams and listening about them because they're really interesting.
I like them almost entirely just as like a source of inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's like, again, with the thing that this originally started off, I'm like, I had this dream and I'm like, this would make an interesting, like, not a hit show, but it would be an interesting show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I call it the, what did I call it? Basically the Lovecraftian Puppeteer Superhero.
Oh, yeah, you told me about this, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously you told me about this, you already said you did.
Yep, but now you remembered it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just basically, like, the protagonist is the,
Ooh.
And I'm going to, just for the sake of making it more interesting, rather than tell you like how the dream went and how I experienced it, I'm going to talk about it as, basically pitch it as the show that I think it would be.
Mm-hmm.
Which is basically like, the protagonist is this like super, like, almost pretentious, but almost in like a lovable way, like artist. This guy who is just like, everything is art, everything is creativity, and he just has like a passion for like all the things, the limitless possibilities that you can do. And I'd imagine like when it starts out, he's talking about like, oh, and he was a kid, he discovered art, and he was just like, drawing all the time. And then he discovered dance. And he was like, but you can invoke so much more with dance and music than you ever could with simple like pen and paper. And then he discovered like acting, and he's like, I could not only like show you something, I could become something, I could take part in the art. And this all culminates with him eventually discovering puppetry, which in his opinion is the highest form of art.
Which is the beginning of the first episode where he's just describing it to his friend.
Yeah.
I really love that.
That's I'd imagine like not the first episode, or it would be in the first episode, but it wouldn't be the whole first episode.
No, just the first like 30 seconds.
Yeah, the first 30 seconds would be this thing, like this monologue of him like on the bus, like explaining this to someone, not probably his friend.
His only friend.
His only friend. No, because he specifically has... Well, I guess he could just have one friend, because the other one's only real noticeable trait is that he's the one normal person amongst everyone else.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so his whole thing is like puppetry, because he's like, there's the craftsmanship of building an actual puppet, which is like this 3D art in itself, and then performing as the puppeteer, which as like acting and if you sing, it's singing, and it's kind of got like dancing to it. And he's like just this like really pretentious, like talking about how you can invoke so much with the art of No! My sticky orb! So what sentences I never thought I'd yell. I never thought I'd be yelling about my sticky orb to the heavens.
Wait.
Yeah, this guy does not sell the magnet, but you can enlarge
your wand. That would have been great to have had with the magnet.
Very much so. I was hoping I could get there, and I just didn't quite make it. A sad state of affairs.
Is your wand not cutting it?
Your wand's not big enough? Enlarge your wand for a limited time. But, yeah, so... We've got this that sets up like the main character, and he's going to this really prestigious school for puppetry, the puppetry like academy, essentially.
Academia, yeah.
Which the reason I imagine that it's an anime because I very much imagine this guy like, he's on the bus, he's going to because every anime seems to take place in a school or an academy, everything that stars like teenagers. And that the whole academy scene just doesn't seem to work like in America.
Yeah.
It's just something that's like uniquely anime.
Well, I mean there is, but it's not really academy. It's more of like welcome to high school. It's hell.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So yeah, that's the idea. He's going to this prestigious like puppetry academy. That's in this new city. His girlfriend and his friend have gone with him.
Wait, he has a girlfriend?
Yeah, he has a girlfriend.
He's already better than me.
He has a girlfriend. He just like met her in town. Maybe
That's not a girlfriend. That's a hooker.
maybe he meets her. I don't know. The point is he has a girlfriend. Whether or not they've been there for a long time and she's like moved with him, or whether or not he meets her once he moves to the town with the academy, hard to say. Either way, doesn't really matter. The important part is he has one. He has the one friend. They don't go to the academy, but they go to school nearby, so he keeps in touch. And while he's in town, while he's going to school, like the first day, there's this like thing in the background about the police finding like a dismembered body near the river.
Okay, down by the river.
Down by the river. And just like throughout, like over the next couple days, like there's you don't want to run into those curse things.
Yeah, I know.
They're bad. Most curses are bad. Fireball. Fuck the bushes, but don't in real life. That will shrink your paddle. After I spent so long. Ooh, so
Damn.
much. So much monies. But yeah, so there's this thing, and then somehow, you know, people are going missing. It's sort of like low key, like the police are investigating it, but no one thinks it's like too bad. It's just like, oh,
there's a bunch of runaways.
There's a grisly murder that happened, and some people have run away or disappeared. I don't know. Turns out, in the city, there are deep ones living in the sewer, which are sort of like these Lovecraftian... Oh, I shrunk my paddle. I accidentally hit it, now I got a tiny paddle. Story of my life. My magic wand.
So it's that early in the morning, huh?
Better go to the internet. Better go to my spam filter real quick. I'm sure someone in there can help me with that. You need to enlarge your magic wand. Yeah.
Well, we know the magic words. Viagra.
Viagra.
Male enhancement.
I don't care.
Yeah, you have literally 15 other lives.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I did not notice I had been buying.
Yeah, you had been buying
so many.
Which is, I was kind of like, why do you even do that? You're going to be able to do this without any dying. Like, never mind.
Yeah. It's fine. I can go with a regular paddle. But yeah, so the turns out there are Lovecraftian fishermen down in the sewers. They're kidnapping people at night.
I'm sorry, but that sentence is still just
they're
amazing.
They're murdering people. They're doing these things. The poet guy, of course, like he's like, you know, or not the poet, the artist guy. He's like, I'm a puppeteer. I have no business in this until his girlfriend goes missing.
We got a double dragons going on here.
Yep. He and his friend decide they're going to go investigate. They're going to go try to track down the last known place. It leads them into the sewers. In the sewers, he finds evidence not only of like these strange monsters, but also a bunch of occult stuff. They find tables with old tomes on them, including a Necronomicon of types. And the main guy, the artist guy, he picks it up. He decides to open the Necronomicon, and he reads a verse, and it infuses his puppet, which he brought along with him, because of course he did, because this was right after school.
And he brings his puppet everywhere.
He brings his puppet.
How are you still dating her?
Man, this puppeteer has a girlfriend, too unrealistic. I can't believe in any of this. The Lovecraftian fishermen were fine, but the fact that a puppeteer has a girlfriend...
Not the puppeteer having a girlfriend, that he's a puppeteer who carries it everywhere.
Yep.
Oh, okay, that's what that does.
Yep, it's pretty neat.
I mean, like, puppets tend to creep out everybody.
Yeah.
Even puppeteers. They're lying.
I haven't decided exactly on his design, but again, it's like a weird avant-garde like puppet, so it's not like shaped like a person. It doesn't go into that uncanny valley. It's more like, it's really blocky and like kind of obtuse looking. Almost like a cartoon. I could easily, again, if this was a show, I could easily seeing it being like the mascot.
Yeah.
Just this like kind of crazy, lopsided, squarish, triangular puppet guy with like different shaped eyes. But yeah, he infuses it with a demonic soul and brings it to life, and it becomes this wisecracking puppet that has magic powers. But it's
that sentence.
You're welcome. It had a lot of commas.
Thank you, Internet.
Thank you, me. Thank you, Dreams. Thank you, Dreams.
Thank you, Dreams. Hardleg Joe, 2018.
Yeah. So it's this crazy, like, wise-cracking puppet who is infused with evil, like, Lovecraftian powers. And again, it's like, he talks, the puppet comes to life, and then the Deepin shows up. And he's like, as the puppet master, you can command me to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And
And-
oh, God!
That was disgusting.
Yep. So the puppet helps him fight against the evil Deepins, the Deep Ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then the wizard, as it's dying, is like, but how? How could you control that without going mad? And he's like, what? Because he just, like, read out of the book. So his friend grabs the book, and, like, just by touching it, like, his hair starts to turn white, and he has this, like, freak out, like, starts foaming from the mouth, falls over.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the rest of the series, his friend has these, like, visions whenever something bad is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
He's sort of like a nervous wreck because of his contact with the Necronomicon. Like, doesn't even read out of it, just touching it gives him psychic powers.
So why exactly is the kid not immune?
The puppeteer can't be driven mad because his mind is already too warped and crazy. He's
Okay.
already too eccentric for the Necronomicon to infect him.
Okay.
Because he has no preconceived notions about what reality is, they can't be broken by contact with the other side.
So he definitely Old Man Jenkins.
Yeah, he pretty much Old Man Jenkins it. He has this puppet that he can control, and the puppet's constantly trying to drive him mad so that the puppet can take control.
And I know I'm beating a dead horse here. This guy has a girlfriend, and I don't.
To be fair, he's fictional. If you wanted a fictional girlfriend.
I already have too many of them.
Yeah. Well, plus, I didn't get to the best part, which is they find his girlfriend, but it turns out that his girlfriend
Oh yeah, I
is
forgot
not,
about this.
She wasn't kidnapped or killed by the Deep Ones. She is a Deep One. Like, her parents are part of this race of fish people. One of her parents is, and as she's getting older, she transforms into one. And becomes evil. Like, basically they convince her to, like, the outside world will not accept you, you're an ugly fish woman, come join your people, become one with the Deep Ones. Which is what happens in the Lovecraftian story about Deep Ones.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what does time do?
I forget. The orb starts twice as slow. Sure?
Yeah, well, why not?
I mean, it might make things a little slower. Back up to 15. There we go.
I like even numbers.
Yeah. So they find her, and they start to work together, and he's like, we can turn you back. And so she help, like, we can make you human again, it's fine. So she helps them, like, defeat the Deep Ones that are terrorizing the town.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't find an easy way to turn her back. The priest is basically like, this is what you are. You can't not be a Deep One any more than you can stop from being, like, alive. Like, the only way to end the curse is to kill yourself. And so she's like, I'm a monster, and he's like, you know what? I don't care if you're an ugly fish woman, I loved you for you. Like, even though I'm a poet, like, aesthetics are really important to me as an artist, but aesthetics are for art, and people aren't art. So I will stay by your side, even if you are a smelly fish person. And so there you have your, like, that's the first, that's like the opening arc, or like the opening, like, two-parter episode, basically sets up this dynamic. From then on in, the rest of the show is about this group going through the town fighting paranormal mysteries. Like the mad puppeteer with his living demonic puppet that can cast magic, his friend who receives ominous visions from beyond, and his girlfriend who's a super strong fish monster. With giant claws.
Yeah.
Comment in the comments if you would watch such a show.
Fan art, please.
Fan art, please.
Okay. I had forgotten about the. This is kind of boring. There we go.
Just had to wait for them to line up. We got it.
Never mind.
Yeah,
I played the archery game when I was a kid.
Twice as slow as it turns out, probably a terrible idea. In fact, you know what we'll do? as soon as it makes its way back down. Oh no! What happened? How could I let this happen and lose the twice as slow? Whatever will I do from here? Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah.
I want to at least finish this other one.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you, say about my dream that I actually had last night.
Oh, okay.
It's
Try to contain my excitement.
Thanks. I sat through all of your stories.
Would your dream make a good anime?
It actually would.
Oh, okay.
A comedy anime. Granted, yours would probably just suffice.
Mine would have some comedy elements to it.
Mine is literally a parody anime, and it's essentially Welcome to Anime High School, where every trope of anime goes to this high school.
So there's like a giant robot and like a psychic.
Mm-hmm. Then each of the school has like different factions, and they're color based. You got the orange faction, which is your typical Shonen Jump.
You mean there aren't 39 factions, one for each key signature?
No.
Each with their own generals who are based on the phases.
Okay, I get it. Perfect hair forever.
It's not perfect hair.
What was that one then?
Girl Chan in Paradise.
Oh, Girl Chan in Paradise.
You know who made that?
Ego Raptor?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a great parody of anime stuff.
Essentially, welcome to a high school that has, like, essentially every trope there. Like, and they're all color coordinated. Not fully, but they're, like, factions that are color coordinated. I don't know. Essentially, the orange faction is,
They have a fighting tournament, because why wouldn't they?
No. There may be, like...
gotta have a tournament arc.
There might be, like, a, was it Harry Potter, like... Wizarding Cup type thing where like they're all just competing to be the best in the school, not so much fighting. Maybe. But essentially the orange are the Shonen Jump anime protagonists that are basically based off of Sun Wukong, as they always are. Then there's the the red, which is every magical girl character, which not even just the the actual magical girls. It's also like a
bunch of hunky dudes.
Yeah, hunky dudes that turn into various forms of tuxedo. And then there's the blue, which was all mecha stuff, just all the mechs.
Do the colors really matter, or is it just like?
No, they're mad. They matter so that I can
like
say.
That's like additional information.
Okay.
That's not important to the story.
Yeah. There's the Slice of Life group. It's a bunch of normal people. But some of them are overly passionate about the sports that they're in. So you get like or about the cooking that they're in. They're all just very passionate. Oh crap.
Blobs.
About what they're doing.
There's no way to avoid that.
Then there's what is it? The fantasy people, which are just like.
They're elves that go to school.
Elves, orcs, just all the fantasy
but not dwarves, because the Japanese don't seem to like dwarves. Name one Japanese dwarf.
Most Japanese people, because they're short.
No.
Rude. Okay, so sorry.
Your dream. Why is your dream so racist?
No, it actually just started out as just being different colored. I do remember the colors in that they were just like separated in factions of colors, and they were all just anime tropes.
Segregation, racist.
It was more like color gangs, but okay. But
I guess this is just the racist episode now. I'm not gonna be able to put this out.
Thanks.
This is gonna be my puppet story is ruined forever. I can't possibly. Now I die. Now I'm dead.
Yeah, it's something that I actually do think I could write a story for.
Yeah, you could certainly try. It's a lot of characters to keep track of.
Oh no, there were two ways of doing this. Either it would be small vignettes of I don't think I know what the vignette means, but small little like snippet episodes showing things going on
It'd be like Hetalia, where you'd have like 5-minute episodes.
Yeah, where it's just small things of what's happening in the show. Or it would open up like every anime, like, my name's Hiro Nakamura, and I'm just a normal 14-year-old boy in Japan. I go to Trope High School, and literally everyone's vying for him to be in their faction.
You should start drawing. You could make little comics. If the guy from One Punch Man can do it, so can you.
Yeah.
Have you seen the original One Punch Man comics?
Oh yeah, they look horrible.
Yes, they're very simplistic.
Granted, he didn't draw what he was doing. What the comic is now. He literally was like, he wrote it. It was really funny. The guy who's drawing it now actually asked
Volunteered.
him. Holy crap!
It's an angel fairy.
Hit her in the face with your ball.
No, Brandon, we've talked about this. This is why you got in trouble last time.
But I mean,
You're gonna end up like those Channel Awesome people.
Oh, really?
No. Only one of them is accused of like sexual harassment.
Oh yeah, let's not go into that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we brushed on that very basically on the Twisted Metal thing, which was before this. I'm not sure if anyone saw that. We basically we recorded that right when like all the allegations had come out, but before I had actually read any of them or watched any of the videos about them.
What happened?
And now I have, and it's mostly it's weird because it's a lot of the stuff that people are complaining about are things that like I knew about for like back when they happened. But they just never got any exposure back then, because I guess the Nostalgia Critic wasn't that big, or because at the time he was so big that people weren't really willing to listen to the people making the allegations. Well, plus like back at the time it was mostly Obscurus Lupa and like a couple other smaller people who were speaking out about it. And the latest one, if you haven't seen the big however many page document, I think it's like 70 pages now. They have people who keep adding theirs. There's big things like
you don't even go to this channel.
Yeah, like Link Kara added a big statement about his that was like he had a couple things that he was like, I don't really like this or understand it. But mostly just to sort of corroborate what everyone else is saying. Like him just being like, no, they're not being silly. Which I guess coming from him, who is much more well-known and much more like, you know, Link Kara is not the kind of person to lie or say things frivolously. He's very
well trusted.
Granted, not that Obscurus Lupa is, but I guess it's more that like no one really knew what Obscurus Lupa was like off camera, because she only had the one show where she was a goofball. Whereas, like, Link Kara has, like, this very serious, like, history of Power Rangers, and he goes to a bunch of conventions and gives talks and panels and stuff like that, and, like,
but
a lot of people have seen him.
Your diatribe,
Yeah.
So what exactly was said?
Oh, yeah. I guess I thought you already knew.
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. I guess for the people who don't know, it mostly has to do with, a lot of it is just the mismanagement of the company in general. So, like, with the crossover movies, like, it was a common thing that people were complaining, like, you know, they weren't...
paid for their time?
They weren't... Not only were they not paid for their time, but it was requested of them that they would film crossovers while they were there, but that they would give the crossovers to Channel Awesome so that they could put them and monetize them. Like, the crossovers between the people that they filmed while doing, like, all those, none of them got money for them.
Really?
Yeah, Channel Awesome got the money to recoup the cost of doing the anniversary specials.
Okay.
The same thing, like, you know, it wasn't revealed at the time, but I was like, oh, I assume that, like, when the movie goes up, everyone gets a cut of the ad revenue, or when they sell DVDs, everyone gets a cut of the DVD. No, it all went to
Channel Awesome.
Like Doug Walker, Rob Walker, and Mike Macau, who's their CEO. Like, they kept everything. Everyone else, like, worked for free, did extra money to raise stuff for the
the
thing.
channel.
And they pretty much like worked for exposure.
That's kind of sucky.
Yeah. And then it was like things like, you know, they famously like filmed it in 3 days, which again, like that seems like really rushed. It is really rushed, but I always thought it was like, oh, it's a labor of love, and plus it kind of turned out, you know,
really
it
good.
was obviously really amateurish. Like they did good for what they had, but the movies are obviously really amateurish to begin with. But it's like, you know, that's what they get for recording on 3 days. But, you know, it was 3 days of rush production, which they weren't paid, and which they worked like 18-hour...
Really?
like filmed for 18 hours straight, like on set. Not like they left and came back, or they had sections. Like, they were on set for 18 hours straight, and, like...
They didn't look like they were going to murder him. So,
Yeah.
okay, that's impressive on their part.
And they, what was it? They're like, they didn't provide them with any food or
Wait,
water
what?
or craft services. They didn't even buy them like lunch or dinner or provide like hotel rooms. They flew a lot of them out there, but that was like the only cost they paid. And a lot of times they're like, there are people who weren't allowed to leave. Who were like, no, you can't go get something to eat. You have to stay here.
You are not allowed to leave.
They're like, they'd wake up at 6 in the morning and then be on set until 8 o'clock at night and never get anything to eat. And there's one oh hey, boss battle again.
Boss battle, huh?
There's a famous thing about the Nostalgia chick on the first movie being like, do you have craft services? And they're just like laughing. And then Spoonie is like, he's like, they just laughed at me. They were like, oh, this film school graduate, craft services, like, we're just a little, like, we're not some big professional thing. And then Spoonie's like, well, you know, even on, like, student films, there are craft services. Like, you need to give people something to eat and drink. Like...
So Spoonie, nice guy on this one.
At least in that respect. I mean, they still didn't get craft services, but... It's just that idea, like, they didn't at least laugh at her. They were just like, we can't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just that fact. And then other stuff, like, apparently, especially later on, they're like, revenue was down, and so they were like, oh god, get off. There we go.
What exactly does that do?
It slows you down and makes it difficult to move, and you've got to wiggle. Oh, okay, for a second I thought I died. He exploded.
What did you get?
I got a piece of a sacred thing.
Oh, okay.
A sacred MacGuffin, of course.
Ah! Okay, the same for yeah, go back.
Yep. I got some money. Go back to the town and buy more things and see more things.
Talk to more people. You were saying?
I forgot where I was at. What? Oh yeah, just things like, you know, like after they killed off the Nostalgia Critic in the third movie, the like traffic is down. So a lot of people, they started putting like 2 mid-rolls on their videos,
Mm-hmm.
which I mean, you know, a lot of them. Rampart will be built on the next level. Neat. They're like, you know, a lot of people, they put 2 mid-rolls, which a lot of them make like 20, 30-minute videos. So, you know, especially for like, for a 30-minute video, 2 mid-rolls is not that bad.
Mm-hmm. But then there was the ones that were
then-
like 5 minutes long that they did?
No, it was the CEO coming in and being like, you're the reason why traffic is down, because you're putting double mid-rolls, you're making people use ad block, you're driving people away from the site. And they're like, we can't afford to eat very well because you killed off the flagship character without telling us? Like, what was it? It was apparently, like, there was a big thing when he first made the move, like, when he made the choice to kill off the Nostalgia Critic. I don't have enough for that. He didn't tell anyone until the day of the shoot that was the plan. And there was, like, this talk where he's like, you know, this is the end of an era. You know, not only is the Nostalgia Critic dying, but you guys will probably want to retire your characters too and start new stuff.
Wait,
like,
what?
They're like, you fucking what, mate? Like, it was dark times for all of them, and of course they didn't blame the Nostalgia Critic or Doug for any of his decisions. They entirely blamed the other people who were just trying to get by. But yeah, you can read. There are people who have covered it better than us.
And
People,
they blamed who was just trying to get by?
anyone who put mid-rolls, anyone who tried to go to Patreon.
Oh, okay. They blamed. I thought that you were saying that the paperwork was blaming not Nostalgia Critic.
No, the paperwork is just like, it's from people who are on the site who are like, we're trying to do mid-rolls, we're trying to do Patreon, and the Nostalgia Critic and the CEO were like, no, don't do that, it'll drive people away, you can't be like e-begging, you can't be having extra ads. Like,
E-begging.
yeah.
That's stupid.
I make all my money off Patreon.
Thank you
I
again.
provide a service!
Thank you again, Internet,
Yes.
and all our watchers.
Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this Wizorb. If you'd like to see more, we could probably beat this in one more session. There's only 4 levels.
Maybe. We just did 3 sessions. 3.
This is one session.
No, I meant 3 levels. We
2
just
levels.
math.
We did 2 levels. There's
Okay.
2 more left.
Okay. What time is it?
Yeah, we're not gonna do it right now. I'm tired.
Okay, same
Next
here.
time on Legsplay is
Something
what I was
else.
trying to say.
Okay, I'm
Just
sorry.
let me finish the episode,
I'm
Brandon.
sorry. I'll go back in my corner.
Yeah, you better.
Craft services?
No. It's too low. Speaking of which, Joe, where are my craft services?
Comment in the comments if you comment in the comments. Comment in the comments if you comment in the comments. If you like these guys, please subscribe. Comments.